Welcome to the Ctrl-Z podcast. This podcast is about peeling back the layers and finding out what's unique about the entertainment industry that we love and are passionate about. Thank you for listening, and let's get to the show. We are live.
Super live.
This is kind of weird doing it with you guys because I'm only used to solo or over the internet, but it's the setup. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, we're all here. We're official. Together.
Oh, nice. No, I like that. I like that. I think Ctrl-Z is a good name.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we got to come up with a schnazzier.
I want purple. I want purple to be like our color, so badly because Discord is it. I know.
Yeah, careful with knocking the mic since we don't have the vibration
We're
cages or whatever.
We're not 100% set up. We're almost there.
Yeah, it's still good though. I mean, this looks professional and amazing.
I feel very professional right now.
Yeah. So, Gary, you sure you don't want to plug in your headphones so you can get up on this?
Is there an extra headphone?
Yeah,
There is.
That's back there.
One more. Join
So-
in on the fun.
So yeah, it's we're doing this.
It's in the back
Well,
right there.
We need to come up with a way to describe why we're naming Ctrl-Z. Because basically people are going to be like, well, why the hell are you undo? But like I said earlier, it's kind of like we're breaking back or reverse engineering everything as far as process goes, as far as industry info. We can hear airplanes outside.
Yeah.
Industry info. And just, I guess you could say, yeah, reverse engineering things and taking it back to its essential form.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things are lost in the complications of especially with like the argument with programs, like which one's better. But at the same time, it comes down to it's just a tool.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's just like deconstructing the social norms now. Well,
it's true. It's deconstructing
social norms of the animation industry as we know it.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-bum.
Games, animation, film, entertainment in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before we go too far, we should probably introduce ourselves.
True.
So, ladies, you get to go first.
Okay. The most quiet one.
Christina.
Yep. Christina Huck. I'm about to graduate from school.
How long do you have left?
Until April. End of April.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm gone. Yeah, like literally gone.
I'm seriously trying to get that. I want to do a pro-am sculpt off for you guys before you leave.
Yeah.
So.
I want to have more, paint jam coming up, but I want a better paint jam.
Yeah. Well, with
The
that,
last minute.
I'll probably, next month I have 2 classes that I'm teaching. Yeah, careful with the pops. I have 2 classes that I'm teaching, so I'll probably need your guys' help to either reach out or kind of organize things so that I can just focus on the smaller stuff. Because, that's a dream of mine to get you guys to do a pro-am where it's 1 pro, 1 student, and you guys do a sculpt off together against other pros and student teams.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah. So we'll see how that gets going, and I'm hoping to have it ready by April. But what handles can we reach you at as far as your social media or anything like that?
Like Instagram and almost everything, it's Dursa Flutterby, and then Twitter's just Dursaby.
Do you want to spell that? Because I'm dyslexic, and I always say it wrong. So
Dursa is in DERSA, Flutter, and then BYE.
Flutter, bye.
Yeah, bye. Goodbye. Yep.
Cool. And so we also have one of our newer students. I mean, you're not so new anymore, but
weird.
You're still within your first year.
Yeah.
Jessica Winters, guys.
That's me. What's up? Instagram. Yes, my name is Jessica. I started at LAFS in April of 2018, and it's 2019 now, which is crazy. But yeah, I got into the industry because I've just always loved animated movies like Pixar and Disney and DreamWorks and all of that, and I just wanted to be a part of it and wanted to be a part of this creative world. So I decided to jump in, and here I am. My Instagram and stuff is Winterfresh Jess. So Like all one word.
Like the gum.
Like the gum. My last name is Winters, so that's why it's funny.
Ba-dum-bump.
But
And this sultry voice over here is my name's Adler Romero. I am the ZBrush instructor over at the LA Film School in the animation department. But I also have a background in doing personal branding and photography and some other things. So this is why I'm kind of heading this off, is to help the students get their brands out. Learn what it takes to do their own thing and think outside of the box. So
yeah.
And then we got Gary in the background. Gary Chacon. He's our lovely. What is your title?
Teacher's assistant.
Okay. Our lovely animation department TA. So, well, hey, you know what? One day I can see you as a teacher. So,
thank you. That's a goal. I really want to bring back the role of getting a ruler.
Physical discipline.
So fingers. Ctrl-Z.
Ctrl-Z.
Well, next time we'll have 4 mics up. Gary's just helping us with our branding, thanks to the Animation Smash, which is what would we say Animation Smash is our department's brand.
Yeah, it's sort of it's a brand in terms of just when we have events, we have a brand and we call it Animation Smash.
Yeah. So it's our animation department's brand. And they're sponsoring this podcast as well as the LA Film School, letting us use the facilities to do what we're doing. We also want to give a special shout out and thank you to our AV Tech team.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, John, Luis, and Jared. We couldn't have done this without you. We'd still be scratching our heads right now trying to do this podcast. Yeah, and literally was just a switch and
one button.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. So if you guys ever listen to this, just know it means the world. You were able to help us and got it out there.
You are appreciated.
Alrighty, so this is our pilot episode, and with more to come after this. So I kind of wrote the notes backwards because that's just how it came out when you started writing them. And I was like, what do we do? But
some artists would write entire poems backwards, and then they would read them from the bottom up. And
really?
I think so. Yeah, I might be completely wrong, but it sounds cool.
She's just pulling out her butt. She's like, this is my secret knowledge that I just made up.
Art.
That's why I'm a creator.
Okay. I kind of went into a little bit like why we're doing this, as far as branding is involved. I've been a professional in the industry since 2012. So what is that? 7 years? Seven, almost 7.
2019
Yeah. I was good with math when I was in middle school, and then I just didn't care anymore. Yeah. And I didn't go the traditional route where I have a lot of friends who are in amazing studios and amazing positions. I don't know. I guess I was an outlier and I wanted to do my own thing. I realized early on that I don't do well with authority and, an art direction, which is fine. I mean, everybody has their own path. And I think I covered this in my personal podcast, but I don't want to shamelessly plug, so I'm not going to. But
over here.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in not everybody is going to do the same thing. You have your own paths. Like, you should never, as a creative, have to feel that you need to follow everybody else. Because everything's going to work out how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
If you want to think existentially or spiritually. It can't, yeah.
Preach, Adler. Preach.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happier. Like, I can't imagine being in a studio and being away from my daughters, longer than I already am. I live in Huntington and I drive out to Hollywood to teach, and it's a long trip, and that's hard on my family. That's hard on my fiance, and I love my daughters. They're the world to me. They're super smart, and I can't wait to start getting them into art and teaching them things. So that was a huge marker or life goal that I had in mind as I was starting off in the industry. It's like I knew I wanted a family, but I hated the idea of staying 10, 12, 14-hour days at a studio and then coming home and not be able to spend time with them. Like, before I started teaching here, I freelanced and was teaching part-time at the Art Institute. Rest in peace. RIP. And I got to work from home for the first year and a half. And as I love teaching here, but it was hard. It still is hard for me that I don't get to be so close to them anymore. Like, I got to see them, their first crawling, their first, words, things like that. And now I'm missing out on their first sentences and all of that stuff. So for me, choosing a different route allowed me not only to find my style, find what I love to do, and find alternative directions that you can use your creative skill sets with. So
yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys have anything off of that? Like, I mean, you guys are still in school,
yeah.
But as far as experience-wise goes, have you noticed anything that's kind of changed your mind or offset your initial goals coming in?
I mean, that's a good thing to talk about when you're trying to decide if you
should
want
I
to go.
Put this mic here and then so we can both?
Right?
You should come snuggle with me. Where's the
okay.
homie here?
We need.
It's just a really good thing to talk about when you're trying to decide, if you want to go freelance or you want to find a studio job where you're going from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It also depends, like, the consistency, if you're worried about that. I think with freelance, maybe you have more control in terms of how much you're going to get paid contract-wise, where, a studio, this is the amount that you're getting. It doesn't matter how many hours of work you're going to be kind of putting in. Huh? Salary.
Yeah.
Sounds like celery.
Yeah.
Celery.
Gross. Gross. But, at this point, if you are single and, if you're not married, you don't have kids, you have the opportunity to go freelance. But if you do have responsibilities, or if you think in the future, that eventually, you meet someone, you want to get married, you want to have kids, at that point, that's also probably a good question. Like, if you have enough experience, like maybe you have 10 or 15 years of experience going freelance and you have a big network to the point where you could still have these responsibilities, but still do freelance if you want to. So I guess, I don't know.
I mean, there's plenty of people out there that work that way. So it is possible.
Yeah.
Adler is pulling the microphone back to his face.
And I'm going to go back to the corner.
I like the crispiness of the voice.
Yes.
No. Fine. I mean, but what about you two? I mean,
for me, I'm U.S. Navy veteran. I went through all that stuff, and I decided that I really don't want to work in an environment like that ever again. And I hear sometimes studios are like that. So I'm like, I know I've always wanted to at least freelance, always wanted to do something with art, sculpt, paint. While I was in the Navy, I painted shoes for people. I painted murals all over the ship. It's like, I know I just want to do something with art, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get there somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I dipped into the freelance world after I lost my job 2017, which is crazy. It was that long ago. But I was a graphic designer, and then I lost my job. So the only thing that I could do to stay afloat was to do freelance, or else I would have to go work at like Carl's Jr. or something, which I did not want to do. So because like you, Christina, I wanted to be creative. I knew that I had something in me that wanted to create things. So it's good because, yeah, you get to be your own boss, and you get to say like, hey, I know that I am worth $500 for this project. And you get to tell somebody that and be like, yeah, I know my worth, and then do not shake with that. And then you get to add late fees and all the other stuff too. Like you get to be your own boss, and you get to determine like, I will pay bills this month because I will make it happen, rather than having to rely on somebody else telling you, oh, I'm sorry, like you know,
Cut
you're
for this month.
yeah, we got our budget cut, and like we're only going to be giving you half of what we promised or something. So, however, I did come into this thinking studios. I did come
Yeah.
into this like
Pixar.
yeah, Pixar, Disney, and I'm still totally wanting to intern there and things like that to
the
get the
knowledge.
experience and knowledge. Right, Adler's shaking his head at me.
I'm joking.
but Adler's been opening my eyes and to think outside the box and be more of a branded business owner,
You should
Entrepreneur.
change
entrepreneur.
this to, like, out of the box or something.
Yeah, out of the box. Wait, don't copyright that. Yeah.
But I think that's great because like you're applying to all these internships early on, and again that gives you the taste to see if that's something you really want to do. And since you're still in your first year, and if you get it, then you're like, all right, I'm going back to school. I know what I need to work towards, and then move towards that.
Yeah.
So
Quick question.
Yeah.
Where are y'all from originally?
Oh, Bellingham, Washington. There by Canada.
I'm from Vacaville, California, which is like in between San Francisco and Sacramento. That's how everybody explains it to be. But I love it. I miss it.
So, just a quick question.
where are you from?
Well, I'm from Texas, El Paso, Texas.
Oh, dang.
Pass.
Yeah.
We pass through that all the time.
Yeah, most people do.
Well,
It's the same with Vacaville.
It kind of looks like Palm Springs. No, Palmdale, but without
God.
the palm
It's
trees.
different.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess.
I was gonna make a bad joke, but I was like, I probably shouldn't.
Is this a clean stream?
Is it a clean joke?
Depends who's listening.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Mom, Dad,
do
I'm
we want to
sorry.
rate this podcast? Do we want to do PG-13 or?
I get.
PG.
What's
as much as possible.
what's PG-13? I mean, PG-13. You
like
can have
two-
one. You can have one. What is it? One or two
I thought it
f
was
bombs?
Two.
One or two F-bombs,
Yeah.
a 6-second sex scene.
Oh,
No.
Well, I mean, I want to make this clean because I know we're gonna have high school students probably listening, but at the same time, we're adults,
yeah.
so I think we should be able to. Yeah, I think
watched a PG-13 movie
lately. I mean, Jesus,
Yeah. True. Very true.
compared to what a PG-13 was when I was little.
And then you got high school kids that are fans of Game of Thrones.
Ah, Game of Thrones. I love it.
That's a lot of.
Yeah, I mean
It's
that's
gory.
why I think PG-13
Yeah,
is good.
I'd
I
say
mean,
PG
she's
is
looking up
pretty-
the ratings right now.
I'm
so-
looking it up. This is TV 14.
I
But
mean,
programs rated TV 14 may contain some material that parents or adult guardians may find unsuitable for children
that's
under
what-
the age of 14. So
What
just
about,
think if
what
you
about, what about what's TV mature? Because if you go
That's like-
if you go what is it?
That is Game of Thrones.
yeah,
right?
Game of Thrones
Yeah.
TV
Yeah.
anime.
So maybe
Please hold.
maybe right under that.
Is of graphic.
I think if we
Or-
base it off of movies, PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how would you talk to the freshman in college or like the seventh grader, 8th grader? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I curse like a sailor, so
Yeah.
I would let a few slip out here and there, but I'm gonna try to do my best on the podcast.
right.
And so I said limited f-bombs, and if we do drop one, Gary's gonna put a fart noise over it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's what 13-year-olds like.
yeah.
Farts.
Farts.
Well, there's like a whole anime about just nonsense, lewd stuff, and they purposefully censor it because it makes it that much funnier.
Yeah, that
So.
makes sense.
Okay, before we go too far off tangent,
Yeah.
what were we talking about?
Well, the
About
reason why I asked, like,
location.
where
Oh, yeah, our locations.
everybody was from is like, well, why did you make the move, and how was
Oh.
it? You know,
Oh.
there's the struggle.
Well, I still need to say mine.
Yeah.
You're from.
I'm LA born and bred.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't count.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just moved down south to Orange County, but I was born in Santa Monica.
Okay. I was like, OC.
That's where I live now.
Oh, okay.
But I grew up in Whittier. If you want to get specific, I grew up like 11 years in Whittier.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
and now I live in Orange County.
That's exciting.
Not really.
And
I mean,
Torrance.
I have some stories, but I
Ooh.
can't really share them on here.
Adler, is that why you want to travel for the rest of your life? Is
That's
because
why.
you've been in one
Yeah.
place your entire life?
That's why after this podcast,
Yeah.
it's Adler After Dark.
No,
Just investigating your soul?
not really. I mean, if we want to get onto that topic about traveling, the biggest reason for traveling is we just feel like there's so much help that can be given as far as with creatives go.
Yeah.
And we will try not to talk about politics,
Yeah.
but you know, there it's you don't see creativity in the school system.
It's like,
It's not looked at as something that's serious. You know, when psychologists and have done studies that creativity helps a lot of brain functions as you're developing as a child. But not only that, you know, just there's people that can't afford to come to schools like this or anything like that. So my end goal is eventually being able to travel and help people and teach people. You know, but for now, I'm here with you guys, and you know, I'm helping you guys educate you and motivate you guys to think out, like, again, things outside of the box. We should just have that chime
yeah.
and just like have it there, so it's like we just press a button.
Yeah.
We need a
I have
soundboard.
Gary's
we'll
gonna
get-
end
we'll
up being our soundboard.
We'll get a soundboard.
Or sound guy.
Yeah.
Guys.
Or you can just be the soundboard and like say,
Just like a beatbox.
can you make a
Fart
fart
noise.
noise?
It's all F-bomb. Fart noise.
Fart noise.
Input. Fart noise here. Yeah, I mean, but that's why I want to travel. And I want to see the world
Yeah.
because I got into photography. I want to see everything. I want to take pictures of everything. I mean, I like portraits and street photography mostly, but I won't miss a landscape here and there. Like,
Yeah.
You need to go to India.
I know.
India is beautiful.
I wanna
I mean, my one of my old
Scottsdale,
mentors.
Arizona.
One of my old mentors, yeah. One of my old mentors that taught me 3D back in school, he got into photography because unfortunately he had a stroke and had to stop teaching. That's how I got into teaching, was because I took over his class.
That's
And then he was like, "Hey, I know you're into photography. Let's go to Big Bear. We got a small group of friends to just go camping." And then he took me out towards dusk when, you know, he had golden hour, and we caught some beautiful landscapes out by Big Bear. And it was just nice just to walk around in nature, get away from everything, and just focus on the beauty. If you want to be all cheesy, but the beauty in front of
Go
you.
to Angeles Forest. It's so great up
I know.
there.
I want to go. We'll go one of these days. But no,
I do love a good sunset.
we had some good ones our last photography day.
Oh yeah.
Are we gonna be able to catch the sunset tomorrow?
I'm hoping that it's not cloudy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's been clear the past few days, so
Okay.
Yeah.
But
The
clouds
sunset's
make
at
it
5:15.
so much better.
True.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but not cloud coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
So
no,
as long
not
there can be,
overcast.
yeah, there
Yeah.
can be some clouds because
But
then
if we're
they
at
get
the
the damage
beach, we'll be at sea level, and then maybe the sun will kind of dip down.
dip under. Yeah, that's happened. Yeah, so
Get some
Christina,
beautiful
why did you move to LA?
Oh my gosh. Well, first I joined the Navy and was in Yokosuka, Japan. And then someone, yeah, someone I served with actually came here and found the school, and then I joined him
Oh,
all the
okay.
way over here. So I'm used to traveling, so it's just another place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like it here.
in your journey of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next place is just to settle down now. I want a ranch.
Definitely not LA.
That rancher accent came out right there.
Ranch.
I want a ranch.
I want to get a degree in computer animation and get a ranch.
I want to still do that.
No,
I
I
want
know. I got
chickens.
you.
I want a horse. I've been afraid of horses since I was like.
Oh,
little, so
I
want
freaking
a
love horses.
Uh-huh.
I jumped on one when I was like 8, and I just took off on
Oh
that
my
thing.
gosh. No,
Bareback.
they're too big, so I'm just like, stay away.
I want to learn how to ride a horse.
The ranchers looked at me like,
Yeah, chicken.
"Is this your first time riding a horse?" Mm-hmm. And I was just like
that.
galloping. Just, woo!
Yeehaw.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm
cool.
a natural.
Do you like
I'm
goats?
natural to everything.
I don't really want goats, but Josh says he wants goats. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Bah.
But okay, yeah. I'm probably gonna get goats, chickens, horses. I don't know, other things.
But again, going back to out of the box.
Yeah.
You have the ability to do that with the digital age that we're in now.
Yeah.
So it's just as long as your work speaks for yourself, then you can easily just
I got internet too.
go wherever.
Strong internet.
Yeah.
Important.
Maybe I might not be able to
Possibly.
stream, but I can record and then upload.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Works.
I mean that's what I'm gonna have to do eventually when we do the traveling whole setup. That I probably won't be able to stream, but I can record and upload. So
Satellite internet that exists.
with only 50 gigs at its highest, like,
No.
and then they start charging you. I looked into
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's like $200 for 50 gigs.
Ugh.
And
I
so
don't have to look into that.
I mean, my fiance asked me. She's like, "Can we stream while we're out there?" I'm like, "Yes, but just know the way we go through, you guys watch TV with the girls, because I mean they just have it in the background. It's not like they're sitting there and staring.
Just download all that stuff and then put it on, and you won't have to use any of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up with like VHSs and
Yeah.
like, stuff, we didn't
DVDs
have
and Blu-rays.
streaming.
Well, I mean, by the time we get to that point, my girls and me will probably be making art more often. Like they
Yeah.
love acting like they're taking photos with me. Like they'll just grab their toys and like picture. Or when I'm sitting down and I'm streaming, they want to touch the screen and everything. Of course, it aggravates the hell out of me because I don't want them to screw anything up, especially knowing how fickle ZBrush can be sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I don't want them to press something and all of a sudden just
Hey,
crash. Yeah.
Oh, we went solid for a bit. Still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Your move.
Jesse. I
Nobody calls me Jesse. I'll take your throat for that.
I moved to LA because, gosh, guys. The reason why I moved wasn't originally to go to school. I was still doing my freelance graphic design, and so I was just feeling like there was a lot more opportunity down in Los Angeles, and I have a lot of family in this area, more Orange County and San Diego, but I grew up around here, so I really feel like it wasn't that big of a move. Like I was pretty comfortable. Ended up living with my cousins for a couple months and then moved out, and when I started to come here, which was just like a month and a half after I moved. So but yeah, LA is the land of dreams, or whatever it's called.
Land of burning heat.
Quote unquote.
Burning
Yeah.
heat.
It's
And-
hot down here.
Yeah, I don't like living in the city. I currently live in East Hollywood, and I don't love it. Like, I want to live somewhere where I'm more comfortable, like suburbia
Come
kind
down
of.
to Orange County.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want
even
land.
like east, like kind of like Azusa area and stuff like that. I think I really like.
I don't know
But
what that is.
well,
That's like,
it's like northeast of here.
yeah,
Okay.
that's past Pasadena. That's like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
you know where Mount Baldy is at?
No.
Okay.
Mount Baldy.
I know where Angeles Forest
Mount-
is. I know where Pasadena
It's
is.
kind of near there.
You like
I know where
popsicles?
Hollywood is.
I got popsicles in my
I don't know
basement.
where-
Or
think-
Glendora.
Glendora.
Mm-hmm.
I know where Glendale is.
It's farther out.
Okay.
More like if you're
I know
going to
Paris
Big
is.
Bear. Like
Yes.
if you're on your way to Big Bear,
Uh-huh.
it's like there.
Yeah.
This is recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Because ever since I screwed up on my podcast, I'm super paranoid about making sure audio's on and that everything's
Yes.
recording.
It's
Okay.
going.
Cool.
I pressed it and I haven't
Can you
pressed it
hear me?
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be a little.
You're going to be a little
louder.
distant.
You sound
yeah.
like the echo in the room.
Yeah.
That's why you're going to come lean in for a kiss. You know?
That's for Adler's After Dark.
Did a PG-13, guys.
Yeah.
After Hours.
You get a smooch in there.
No, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Life is
Life.
life.
Yes.
Life.
Life, man.
All over the place.
It's not like a box of chocolates. It's more
No.
like a sour lemon.
Oh, but lemons are great. I love sour stuff. So.
It depends on who you're talking to.
Mm. That noise.
Okay, what's our next topic, Adler?
I know we veer off and then we're like, hey, what are we talking about?
We were talking about
No, this is fun. I'm enjoying myself and I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
So,
What's going on? YouTube
well,
right now?
kind of playing off of your decision to move or come down here or go to school or anything. You know, decisions. Like I know a lot of people have a hard time or they get scared to make them.
Yes.
But from experience,
Decisions.
yeah. But from experience, it's just do it.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf style. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Look
just
where
make
he
it.
is.
You know, I
He
mean,
is.
He was the best
Making it.
meme, okay?
he's a pretty good rapper.
What?
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never listened to him.
Have you ever heard him on damn it, what's the guy's name called?
Capture the Flag. He
No.
made the best Capture the Flag game ever.
I
Lil
forgot
Nas
what
No,
podcast it was. Oh, that was a pop. Yeah, I gotta be careful with those pops. We need a pop filter.
We do.
But anyways, my experience with making a decision, anytime I delayed or hesitated, it screwed me over. Anytime I was like, I want to do this, I know it's in my heart, and I did it, something came out of it. It might not end up the way you had planned, but opportunities open up from just following and making that decision and going through with it. I don't know. Like I said, for me, anytime I hesitated, something wrong happened. So do you guys have anything that you've noticed so far being in school or throughout life that you feel kind of correlates to that and helps you now with your decision making? Or do you still feel like you're kind of clouded and like, oh, I don't know
I'm
where I'm
so
going?
freaking clouded. I'm so just like, this and this. All like, because I have to make decisions with Josh and everything, at least big, huge ones. So, those are easier to make. Those are like, get a house. We want to do this. We want to do this, and this. But when it, what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to
Baby
eat?
decisions.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's
then-
that stuff's totally fine. But
Yeah.
this is like for me when I started
Projects are actually really hard.
Yeah.
Deciding on what to do for a project. Like, I have so many stories because I like building story worlds and then doing things like that. And I have all those, like, laid out and stuff. But then getting everything started and going and, like, getting the story set and just going is hard.
yeah.
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 Like, working on Psychobilly Wesker. I've had that since high school. Just never worked on it. Just never.
And now you're doing it. You're
I
putting it in
know,
your
I
portfolio.
just-
But you made
Oh.
you made the decision to do it, and you're
Yes.
doing it, and it looks freaking awesome.
Psychobilly Wesker.
So I still think you should turn him into Guile and put E Honda on the other side. It
Later.
looks like Guile about to sumo wrestle E Honda.
That'll be
He's gonna have a
Adler's
gun in his
version.
hand.
Yeah, that'll be
right?
my version.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take your sculpt and I'll make Guile out of it.
Okay.
Um, No, I mean from my personal experience, like going with projects or anything, or even trying to break out of your shell, and that was what took me and showed me my path that I wanted to take. Is when I started freelancing, my first gig was for 3D printing tabletop miniatures. I had no clue what to do, but I had the skill set to sculpt for it. But because I made the decision to take it and be like, this is something new, I'm going to take it as a challenge, and I'm going to defeat this challenge, open the rest of my life to me. And that's why I think, to be in this industry, you do need to have kind of a, I'm going to try and butcher Yiddish here, but like chutzpah about you, like just guts and just determination. I don't think this is the kind of grit, industry for somebody who is soft spoken or afraid to take not that you can't succeed being soft spoken, which you can.
You just gotta be present, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry too much about the future. Don't worry too much about the past. Just be in that moment, be in that time, and be like, this is something new. If I fail, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because the biggest artists out there will tell you failing is so important on your journey in your career, and it's not something to be afraid of.
A lot of them didn't start until their like 30s too.
Yeah, I mean, you got what is his name? I think it's Simon Lee, who was a web designer, and at 40 he started sculpting, and his stuff is amazing.
Just explodes.
Yeah, no, it's just it's phenomenal. So like when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm too old," or "I'm too late," or "I'm not creative," you're defeating yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it goes back to having that grit or having that determination to achieve your goals, be it art, be it life, be it whatever. I talk about philosophy a lot, guys, so you'll notice that in the podcast. But it all correlates. Like being an artist, especially in the entertainment industry, you're going to burn out if this isn't a passion. And there is still burnout even when you're passionate about it, just depending on if it's feeding what your heart desires or not. But yeah, if you're not passionate about this, you're not going to make it. You're only going to last 2, maybe 3 years.
It's like another industry I know about.
Yeah, just know your limits and know when to take a break. Some people are afraid to take breaks because they think they might miss out on opportunities.
Don't point at me.
And then that's when they're rhomboid.
Rhomboids, yes.
Rhomboids get tense.
Tense rhomboids.
Yes.
If I can speak from my experience, I mean, and my rhomboids. No, I like, to be completely honest. I love being transparent, and I love talking about my life in the most realist way because I want people to relate to me. Not because I like my ego, but I know that when I'm down in the dumps and stuff, like, I know other people, like, hearing that other people are also going through the same thing that I'm going through, like, makes me feel seen. When I started coming here, I had no money. Actually, I had no money for, like, a year before that, and I was, like, $2,000 in credit card debt, like, just struggling. Even though I was doing freelance, like, I was doing okay, but, like, not enough. And when I found out that I had to take a whole bunch of money out in loans and I got no financial aid because I'm a middle-class white girl, that really
she like struck that in there. Middle-class white girl.
Well, it's true. Like, I don't have anything. I'm not gonna say I'm not unique, but according to FAFSA, I am not unique enough to get any financial aid. I don't have I'm not a minority of any sort. My parents make too much, in quotation marks, to get any financial aid when actually they don't help me pay for school at all. So yeah, but like, it's really hard. I wanted to follow my dream. Race
plays a role in that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You think that I don't want to go off on a tangent because it does get political, but my point is that, like, I followed my dreams because I literally was at rock bottom, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do with my life, so what do I want to do? Like, what is the only thing that I could see myself doing? And, you know, I thought, well, I could be a web designer, which was like, okay. And I actually did try to learn code, but I didn't love it. And I'm like, this isn't creative enough for me. Like, I want to be able to get my hands dirty. I want to be able to make something of my own. And like I said, I just love animated movies, and I got inspired by, like, glowing plants from Avatar and, like, Moana and, like, all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do. And it's been really hard. Like, it's been really hard picking up your life and going down to this really big city. Everything's expensive. Like, parking's expensive. Like, breathing's expensive.
Breathing's nice,
but
totally
people, I'm literally living in a trailer. Like,
that's cool, though. I think that's cool.
You know what, though? Like, we've talked about it, and that kind of makes you appreciate things a lot more when you achieve them, and it really puts into perspective, like, what do you actually need to make things happen?
Right.
You need a house. You don't need, and I mean, we can totally do another podcast on minimalist lifestyle for an artist.
It's kind of funny. Some of the best times I ever had was during the struggling times.
Yeah.
When I lived in a living room for about a good 3.5 years, and I shared that living room also with another best friend from high school as well. But I guess this is because, you know, we were chasing after the same thing. We had goals, we had dreams. Just made it more fun, you know. And for me, I know it's hard right now. It doesn't seem fun, but you will look at those times and kind of like think, like, you'll remember where you came from and how you got here.
Yeah.
And so you'll be able to share your experience in front of the school.
Yeah.
Or an animation smash.
It's hard to hear that, like, the season you're in right now, you know, you'll be able to look back on it and be like, oh yeah, I needed that season because it got to me to where I am today. But in all reality, like, I know that's the truth. And like what you were talking about, Adler, like, if you have the drive and the commitment and the passion for whatever you're doing, you won't care that you have no money and that you're, because what you're doing is way, way, way more important, and you know that it's going to pay off. Like, however it's going to pay off, you just have this like dream knowingness that it's going to work out.
I think one thing too people forget is like stress is real. Yeah, you know.
Yes.
But people stress out too much over things. Like I know I do it still, my fiance does it. But the biggest thing I tell her when we're both freaking out is we should only stress about what we can control. Because that's the only thing we can change. If we stress about the stuff that we can't control, then that's going to make us falter and take away our drive from our passions. I feel like when I'm stressed and I know it's about money or something, I can hustle to make sure I get enough money for me and my family when I need it. Which is often because having twins and, you know, my fiance has to stay
Adorable
home and
twins.
thank you. My fiance has to stay home and watch them because I can't afford a freaking nanny. And if she went to work, that money she would make would just go to childcare.
Slurps in the background.
Sound effects.
But I'd rather have her at home raising my kids, our kids, not my kids, our kids.
They're mine.
Babies.
They're mine. No. She's an amazing mother. I don't know how she deals it with both of them. I freak out because they are so smart and love to test us. But anyways, off tangent. I'd rather have her there and me busting my ass. First curse word of the podcast.
I mean, donkey.
fart
It's okay.
noise.
Yeah, donkeys.
No, we said F bombs will be fart noises.
right.
Yeah. So
Say ass. and
Air raid.
TV-14.
Bombs.
what? No. So okay. So if you accidentally curse, it's for emphasis. So it's never. What is it? Not. Is it derogatory? Is the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for?
derogatory.
And nothing
Right.
to insult.
Yeah.
It's just for emphasis. I love how we just have this on the podcast. And we're just like, you guys are still, we're still figuring it out. It's our first pilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the pilot for sure.
It took us forever just to set up.
Yeah, literally, we started at what, like 1:30?
Yeah.
And we didn't get it up until 5 because how
One
many?
button.
Yeah.
One button. I mean, now some of the wires we now know aren't really.
Yeah.
So, but that button.
Yeah, that phantom power. That phantom power.
Bad news bears.
Where?
We gotta bust out,
You,
actually.
you gonna bust out?
Yeah.
All right,
Birthday
Gary.
party to go to.
Oh, fun.
Gonna get some cake. Hopefully it's funfetti.
Quote unquote cake.
Hey. Extra layers of.
Chocolate.
We were all waiting.
It's the midnight show for Gary. After dark.
Thank you for inputting your
Yeah, of
input
course. I will
into
bring
our
my
pilot.
soundboard next time. It will be full of fart noises.
Great.
and
Well, your soundboard can be on the editing part. We'll just send you the audio.
oh, okay, I guess
I'll
that's
upload
easier.
it.
But
Yeah.
if you want to come and record us for social media purposes, we're more than happy to have you.
Gary, be our mod.
Yeah.
I will.
Wait, no. You're
Oh
not
no,
really.
we're gonna need a moderator if we start doing this off of Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Yes.
Fun mode.
We're
All right.
Cool. All right, Gary.
Thank you.
Don't slam the door.
I need some more
Don't
water.
pull the handle off.
Yeah, careful with the handle.
You're good.
All right, see y'all.
Bye.
What time is it? 6:13. Oh, we still got some time.
Okay.
Because traffic's not gonna die down until at least another hour.
Oh, I won't be able to stay because Josh needs to make food and he needs to eat. So
Yeah.
he does all the cooking. I can't cook. I just give everyone food poisoning.
Okay.
Oh no.
I've done that to myself twice.
So,
Oh.
how long do you have?
I mean, you said same.
I was thinking of just ending at 7.
I guess I can do that and then go back. Okay. Yeah, so we're fine.
I mean, if we cut short, then fine. But I mean, like, if we just stop talking and don't have anything else to talk about on top of our head, then we can cut it then. But I'm at least shooting for 7.
Okay.
So, so what were we talking
One thing that
about?
I was gonna add, something that we can add to the list is like art block or being burnt out or anything like that.
Probably do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think the biggest thing, as like quickly to answer that, is finding another art form.
Yeah.
And I mean that's how I ended up doing photography. Well, initially it was because I was starting to do more YouTube stuff, and so I bought a camera to videotape myself because I didn't like what my phone was putting out, even though the phone quality is okay.
Yeah.
It's just I wanted that bokeh.
Okay.
Bokeh. And then I just got sucked into photography. It's funny because in college I used to make fun of the photography department.
Getting down.
Yeah, and then and now I'm doing it and I love it. I mean, it's pretty much up there with my digital sculpting now as far as how much I love it. So when I get burnt out, I go out and try to take photos, and that helps my creative juices flowing again.
Yeah.
So that would be, again, we'll do another podcast on this, so that's a good topic to keep in mind. But plain and simple, find something else that you enjoy, another hobby, another art form.
Yeah.
Paintball. Light people up with paint. I miss doing that so much.
Yeah. For me, it's crochet because I'm a very like Zen person. Like I need calm because my brain's never calm. So like crocheting is the best. And then you make something out of it, and then like, hey, I made you a hat, and they're like, thanks, and it makes you feel really fulfilled.
My friend makes scarves a lot.
Yeah. It's the best.
Okay, so we talked about decision making, career goals. So
Oh boy.
yeah, I mean, give me your guys' initial career goal when you first got here, and then what your career goal is after coming out and talking more to people either in the industry or through your process of what you've learned education wise. So let's go that route. Who wants to go first?
Furs. Okay.
I didn't say you
what's that?
volunteered.
You've been here longer.
Yeah, I'm about to graduate, so it's just like, I know Pixar wanted to go work at one of the studios, and then I found out Pixar was still located in California, and everything's located in California. It's like, come on. But I know it was something with animation, and I like dipped my toes in everything, and except, well, a little bit in compositing. Don't like compositing at all, but it's dip my toes in everything, and I don't want to work for a studio. I don't want to, like, I'm not a big, even though I can do it, I don't really want to do stuff for games, and something that isn't exactly readily available here yet. 3D printing was the deciding factor of wanting to sculpt and continue that.
And again, guys, when we're talking about not working in studios, just because we're saying we don't want to doesn't mean that you can't chase that dream, or that
that's
it's not
structure.
it's not a value value dream to go towards.
Yeah.
It's just not for everybody. But the skill sets you do learn when having an education like this can open different doors for you.
Yes.
So that's all we're saying.
Like
Just to clarify.
Studio is very structured, so if you need structure, studio is the best way to go.
Yeah. Or if you want stability, like
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. I know there's plenty of friends out there that would take the stability and lose the freedom, than have the freedom. And I choose the freedom any day.
Exactly. Yes.
So
I can make whatever I want. Like a lot of guys.
So outside of your ranching dream, what plans do you have, or what things do you want to pursue?
I mean, Twitch streaming is probably like the first set goals to get like at least a following. Other than that, is just to actually get my little bits of art like to all my stories going, because the Fatherland Hidden Rage has the most so far, but the story's not completed, or the story world's not completed. But I have one guy, Vincent Himmler, that I've been working on like crazy, and he's just a big serial killer that's also a spy. So He has 2 jobs, and they both fulfill his
He has
need to
one
kill.
job and
Well,
one passion.
Yeah, and they work together. So it's just that's that, and then my other stories, and
He's like Dexter, but we don't know if he's the good guy or the bad guy.
he's a bad guy.
Okay.
He's a bad guy.
Okay.
He's
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
he's but like I don't know. I have like some really
So
fun endings.
you want to do IP development like that?
Yes,
That's where I'm
I
at
want
now
that.
in my career. Is like, you guys know my IP that I've been working on for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Not that I want to give it away on the podcast. That's for my
Another-
personal.
yeah.
Yeah. But you'll notice as you progress in your career that, again, the state of the industry that's in, that a lot of the vets are stepping out to make their own thing.
Yeah.
To have that creative freedom and the ability to do so is more accessible than it's ever been. So
Everything.
yeah,
Like Patreon's another thing, but then there's
you got to
like,
be careful with that though, because that could bite you in the butt and it becomes its own full-time job. So when you use Patreon, like if I ever use it again, it's literally, hey, if you guys want to donate, you guys can donate here.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna have offerings or anything like that. It's literally just gonna have a dollar backing.
Ko-fi. Just go to Ko-fi and then they just boop boop down. I've gone through so many websites. I find new websites of things to do.
I think what pisses me off about like Patreon, and again I'll probably get roasted for this because just the pinup models and stuff like that. Like you work so hard for your artwork, and unless you're female, attractive, and doing things like that,
I know one
you
guy
make
that does that.
you make a jack on. I mean, if your artwork's amazing and you have a following, yes, you can make it happen. But it's just hard to get noticed when you have things like that. You know, people making, I've seen up to $30,000 a month on there,
Yes.
and they're just like
They're cosplayers,
like
kind of.
lingerie cosplay stuff, and yeah.
I mean, I guess Patreon can have that. Then you make another.
I know they got
specific
harder
IP.
on how
Yes.
far they can go, and I'm not body shaming anybody or anything like that. It's just, but it's society, sex sells,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can't really fight that.
Follow
Yeah.
someone on Patreon.
Yeah.
I support someone on Patreon. That's
You know, I just think when they're shamelessly using that, that's when it upsets me. You know, I'm all for empowerment on how you look and everything. There's just a fine line when it's shameful and you know you're exploiting your audience. So, no. Jessica?
Yeah, your turn.
Transition.
Can you repeat the question?
So, what are your career goals? Or what were they when you're coming in?
Mm-hmm.
And then in your short time here and what you've talked with me or Ben or some of the other instructors here, 10 months.
10 months. I was doing the math.
Where's your mind at now? And where can you see yourself going?
So I started, I didn't really know much about the animation industry or even the game industry. I didn't even really think that the game industry was relevant to me and my dreams at all because I didn't really play a lot of video games. I played Animal Crossing and that was about it. So
Hey, it's still a game.
it's still a game, right? But I didn't think that was like relevant enough. So I actually chose the VFX route here at school first because I thought that was the closest to doing cinema, like animation and things like that. And I really wanted to, like work on developing movies like Disney and Pixar and things like that. And that's still part of my dream for sure. Like, even if it's with them or without them, like doing
doing it
things of
remotely.
that sort and doing that style and how it hits you in the heart and it's emotional and beautiful and so much detail and I just love it all. But yeah, so I started there. I started out like, okay, well, I'll try this VFX route and but I want to end up doing big studio name like productions and get my name on some really awesome Disney thing just so I can point it out to my mom and be like, look, there I am. And now I still want that, absolutely, but I'm in this transition right now where I'm starting to let that side of me kind of get pushed to the side as I now start to think about continuing to do freelance.
I wouldn't say push to the side, but more evolve.
Evolve, yes, because I still want to have my name in the credits on something. Like, that's still a dream and a very real goal of mine, is to work on something to have my name in the credits. But yeah, I really don't know what I want to do, and I think I'm really comfortable saying that right now.
Yeah.
I still haven't had a final answer. I know there's a lot of options out there, but I'm loving sculpting, which I didn't even know that I would love until 2 months ago. So
you're killing it.
Thank you. But that was like not that long ago. You know, I had no idea in my entire life that I would be good and like enjoy something like this. So it's still very new to me, but.
What'd you think about the speed sculpting, like doing that in class every day?
Yeah, I liked that. For sure.
My favorite thing is seeing you guys actually finish stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like students go through the process and they don't think they're capable of it, but forcing you guys to be like, this is due at the end of class, really allows me to see your guys' skill set, but also surprises you guys' self. I'm like, I can actually do this in this allotted time. You know, because you saw the sculpt off we had last year, and they only had 3 hours to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so now you're pretty much doing that routine day in, day out during class, and you know you're pumping it.
We had some time to plan.
Yeah.
I think it's important to, like, as I'm learning, because I don't have too much to say about this, but I think it's important to, as you have been saying, to learn how to do speed sculpts so that you can just like get out your ideas really fast, and then worry about the details later, and kind of just be like, just get faster, not necessarily at doing something completed, but maybe doing something that you can be like, yes, that was my idea. Like that's what was in my head, and now it's on the screen or on the paper.
Thumbnails, kind of.
Yeah. So I think there is definitely obviously a place for long-term projects too. Like, there's one speed sculpt that I started of a centaur, and now I've been working on her for like over a week now, because I'm like, okay, I actually want to like put time into this and not make it look just like really bad. So
Black out.
yeah.
I'm so bad at finishing things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm right there with you. I mean, the character model I started when I first started teaching here for character modeling, still haven't finished that. I need to finish it, and some other stuff. But I've been pushing myself to finish things during the Sculpt January this month. I haven't been doing it every day, but I make sure I try to do something, you know, when I can, at least to do more art in the shorter span of time.
Yeah.
So I could do drawing. I have like all these sketchbooks that are like different ones. I haven't finished any of them. Just like this one, and this one's like
Actually, I wanted to touch on your point on kind of going back on how you're like, I want my name on the credit, and again, not to persuade you into doing the
totally
outside. Yes, I'm
persuading
trying to. No, but I mean, you look at Justin Gopi Fields, you know, the owner of Ironclad. That's what his setup is. Is he is not specifically tied to any company, and he has the freedom to produce stuff for, you know, whoever he wants to work with, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's correct, Justin. I'm sorry if I let out your secret or anything like that.
Hey, Justin, come on our podcast.
oh yeah.
No, he'd love to. Well, I don't want to answer from him, but I think he'd love to.
Yeah.
So.
There's so many people we need to.
Yeah, no, that's another reason why we're doing these podcasts, guys. It's not just our experience and our outlook on things. We want to make sure to get other professionals in the industry to come down and share with you their thoughts, processes, and much, much more. Processes. So.
Yeah, so I guess if you're listening, I think, you know, request something if you want a topic about the industry, about the creativity, about being an artist, just ask, and we'd love to talk about it, maybe do a Q&A or just a whole podcast depending on the topic.
We're gonna try to start going live with this stuff, guys. This is
Yeah.
just literally the pilot testing our equipment, making
Yeah.
sure that it works correctly.
Yeah.
But we're planning to have our Twitch channel and then having that live on there, and then you will have the actual recording posted onto YouTube the next day on our Animation Smash pages. Practice.
Yeah. We want that engagement. We want that live.
Yeah. We want to hear from you guys, and we want to hear your guys' questions. Again, we're trying to build a community, not only here within school, but outside of school as well.
Yeah.
So
Bring alumni back to talk to them.
yeah, no, that'd be awesome. You know, it's getting their input on, you know, what they went through school here as far as education, and then how they applied it outside in the industry.
Yeah. Because this isn't just about our school, right? We were talking about that earlier. It's not just about the school in general, but it's about like the industry.
Yeah.
And
It's
wanting to
education and education of
yeah.
the industry in
Right.
general. It's not, you know, we're lucky and fortunate that we have the facilities that we have
Yes.
and that they're allowing us to use them.
So thankful.
But you know, we're trying to keep it as non-biased as possible.
Yeah.
So,
All schools are okay.
yeah.
I want to have a game tournament between No Man and our school.
Oh.
Some competitive.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know if we'll have Joffrey check the audience if it's okay to put that in there. But no, I'd love to open it up to some of the schools around here so that we have like our competitions, open it up to them too. That'd be fun. Instead of sports teams, it's art teams.
Yeah.
So that would totally be cool. I'd love to do that and get that rolling. But you guys have any other points or questions for me? I mean, we talk a lot. So is there anything? No.
The questions are gonna come way later.
They're like, I should have asked that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So can you restate the goal for Ctrl-Z, our name for this podcast, and what you really just want it to be about?
I'm brain farting
In
right now.
2 words.
In 2 words?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, that is impossible right now. No, again, I know people are probably like, well, why is it undo? No, I think if you want to go on the undo kind of nature of what the name means, we're trying to undo and peel the layers back and reverse engineer what makes this industry so special, I guess you can say, and how unique and wide open, like wide open spaces. No, just like where it can go.
Yeah.
I think what I love about our program, and not meaning program in school, but just our specialty as what we teach is there's film, there's audio and music and stuff like that. But I think like the CG or artistic world, everybody else needs us to visually bring to life what they want to see or hear or read. And I think that's what gives our unique skill set what it I can't think right now. I'm like total brain farting, but it's what splits us apart from the rest of the pack.
Right.
As far as creative careers or creative passions go, is, you know, we can be making artwork for an album cover.
Yeah.
We could be making that character on the album cover in an animation for the music video, or we can be making a character to go in a movie that a film director needs, or it could be used for games. And now 3D printing, fashion design,
Right. VR experiences.
VR experiences.
Motion sickness school.
James Cameron films.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That guy's insane.
Yeah.
In the best way.
We'll see if he gets it. We'll see if the 3D actually happens.
So, but yeah, that's the biggest reason why we're doing this podcast, is to kind of peel back the layers and really, really get down to the bottom of what makes us tick as creatives and what makes this industry so unique. Yeah, I guess that's my best explanation for it.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Christina's just lounging back. No, I think this was a successful first podcast. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I think it's good.
You guys
All our
excited to do
stuff's
more?
working. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk.
I don't know. It's weird. Like we can talk just amongst ourselves,
Yeah.
and I love doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't. Podcasting is such a cool art form, even though it's just talking. It's just that long narrative between individuals.
Yeah.
That goes out there. And
Yeah.
we don't have to feel awkward about being recorded or anything. You know, with video, even though we are going to be on video eventually. But I don't know. It makes us more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Really, really gets to feel who we are
Yeah.
as individuals.
I feel like we're almost writing ourselves into the world. Like, you know, this is not just a conversation. Like, we know that people are going to be listening to this and taking something out of what we're saying. So it's no longer just a conversation, but it's like a professional way of telling the world who you are and what you're about. So that not only just for yourself and for people who know you, but also just for people who want to know about whatever we're talking about. So.
Update Facebook.
Yeah. You guys need a podcast.
Woo! So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's it for tonight. I'm tired. You guys seem pretty tired and wiped. So, it was a long day today.
Just hear me move.
But other than that, you guys have a wonderful night, wonderful evening, morning, afternoon. Do not press unstop wherever you are in the world. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, you can.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna